You always, that's why I wanted Kat to ask. It's like my questions, you run away. You don't want me to ask. So I'll make it simple. Can you tell us, I think I want to know, or we want to know, two special things that happened on your 20th anniversary.
Wow.
Wow,
Special
that is great. So I will ask my wife to, to answer that question.
Okay, thank you so much. Good.
Go ahead.
On my 20th wedding, I knew I didn't go to kitchen. I didn't have to be in the kitchen.
Wow. Awesome.
And we just, because what happened was that our daughter and our son, they just booked us an hotel. So we're like, oh, in fact, what happened was that I didn't want to. I'm like, you know what, guys, don't worry. We're still going. We're traveling in June. My daughter was like, no, mommy, you have to go. You have to go. Both of you need to leave the house. So we left the house. It was a nice experience. We drove downtown, and coming back, I'm like, wow, it's been a while we did this, and entering back to the hotel, not because I look at it, I said, wow, honey, it's like, man, I don't have any kitchen to go to here. All I have to be just to be in this room, go to the restroom here. I don't have to say, oh, honey, I'm coming. Let me quickly manage this time, then put some water on the stove. When it's running, I'm coming back upstairs to catch up with you. So I'm like, wow, it's good to always be out of your house once in a while. So now going forward, we're like, you know what? Every 2 months, we have to stay out of the house 3 days.
So let me add to that. So what happened on our wedding anniversary? I think we started our wedding anniversary with our mentor praying for us like 1 a.m. in the morning. So our mentor from US, from UK, they pray for us, and our parents pray for us. That's how we started just receiving blessings from people that have gone ahead of us. That's what happened. And the second thing, I went for a spa. It was a nice time, 2 hours, going for a spa. I really enjoyed it. Thanks to my daughter. I mean, she's great. And the third thing that happened is that we dropped the kids off, we picked them up, and the kids are to go to the hotel. I was like, man, tonight is going to be a good night after getting to the hotel. But when we got to the hotel, my wife slept off. So there was no show. so there was no show. But one thing I enjoy is that
every day is a show, honey.
So I know every day is a show. But one thing I enjoyed that night was I told my wife that we're going to go for not honeymoon, worship moon, and it was an amazing time we spent in time of God. I really enjoyed it. It was my wife and I had a wonderful time just spending time together in the presence of God and just talking to one another. So that is what happened, during our 20th wedding anniversary. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I'm asking. No, we're asking Timeleshi. Are we asking Timeleshi?
Yeah, asking Timeleshi too.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask Timeleshi. What has been how have you been able to go through the most challenging parts of your marriage, the most challenging part of your marriage together as a team?
Okay, we've had quite a number of are we on? Yeah, quite a number of challenges, but the first thing is we need to okay. So basically, what I will say is, one, knowing that we can talk about anything, we can say anything we want to say to each other. We're safe with each other. So that is number one. Being safe with each other means we can share and say, this is what is happening. And then two, advance forgiveness. You know, my husband taught me that to say, okay, I forgive normally because I'm basically a sanguine. With his temperament, phlegmatic have issues with forgiveness. If you really look at their weaknesses, unforgiveness is part of the weakness of a phlegmatic. So they find it hard. Then with melancholy, they tend to also internalize those things, and maybe they can forgive, but they don't forgive easily as well. So he has both temperaments, and I am more of the forgiver. Okay, so even if I need to shout because I have the choleric part of me, it will just be shout and it's over. So that was a saver. So most times I will tease him and say, you are the one that taught me this advanced forgiveness. You are the one that will not be stewing later and you don't let go easily. But what has worked for us is because we need to pray every day. And if we have to pray, we can deceive ourselves or men. We can't deceive God. So we can't go and pray and be holding on to bitterness and pain. So we will have to say, you know what? It's time to forgive. It's time to let go. So sometimes we'll say sorry, like those that we've taught to say, oh, there's a peace dweller, there's a peacemaker. I'm usually the peacemaker. I'm the one that wants to make peace because as sanguine, we really can't stand drama. You know, we are not comfortable. You're not talking to us. If my husband is looking one way, I'm like, what have I done? And things. But these days I've grown thick skin. If he's looking that way, he's on his own. Just settle yourself and look that way. If I feel like I cannot say, okay, is there something wrong? Is there something you know I need to help you with? Because those days I used to think, did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? Did I, you know, but no, just like the guy loves his own flags. They are melancholy, they like their company. So, and they can think and internalize things. So reading it and COVID, like I was sharing sometime, our children delivered me from my husband's look. Sometimes you're talking to him, he has this blunt look, and I'm like, is this guy looking at me as a human being? Or I used to call it the sheep eye. Like, are you a sheep or are you a human being? Yeah, he's looking at me with a sheep eye. So when we had a family meeting during COVID, so my children were like, Daddy, there's a way you look like, oh, we've done something wrong. We've done something bad. We've done whatever. And so when they said that, I was like, whoa, this is deliverance. I didn't need to go to anybody to be delivered from that. So for us, that question is going together is advanced forgiveness, talking about it. There's nothing we can talk about, no matter how painful, no matter how bad. We have to sit down and resolve it, and you will give information. So that's integrity thing, you know, talking and being honest. This is how I'm feeling. There's no judgment. Let's talk and work on this, and we're able to get through whatever challenges we're having. Then sometimes you might have to involve mentors. To say, you are not seeing my viewpoint. He's not seeing my viewpoint. The way you are taking this matter, that's not the way. So if we pray and we feel we still don't have what we need, we go talk to our mentors or talk to anybody that we know can help resolve and pray with us.
So, yeah, I was going to say that there was one time that we had I think we wanted to pray one night, and my kids were there, and they were to break bread, you know. So I just knew that I had to make peace with my wife. So when we were about to start praying, I said, take the communion. I said, okay, for my children, I said, Madam, I'm sorry for X, Y, Z. Immediately I said that, my son just said also that, oh, my daughter's name is Grace. So he said, Grace, me too, I'm sorry for what I did to you. Please forgive me, you know. And for me, that was a good example that it takes a lot of breaking out of self, okay, to live in looking for solution as a couple. And that's been our journey. Always trying to make sure that we get a solution, a resolution as much as possible. And God will help us. Okay.
Thank you very much. So it's over to you right now, Tim Eleshin. I wanted to ask two questions.
There's some questions on. Somebody asked a question.
Yeah. So look at this question. Okay, thank you very much for.
Yeah, there's questions on the chat.
Okay, let me look for the question. So the first question I see right here is number one is, good morning from here. I've been married for 3 years. Please, how do you handle a situation where the husband goes to his family for everything, to the extent that the husband's family treat her like a trash. So can somebody please answer that question for us?
Yeah, so we will contribute a bit. And I guess it's a lady asking this question. So it's obvious her husband is knitted with the other family. So I don't know the issues that makes him go to talk, and maybe she's not comfortable with any small thing, as small as maybe they want to buy change their bed sheet or something. I mean, might be that simple, or I don't know. But just in case that's the issue, I want to first of all tell the lady that, okay, marriage is your compromise, as long as it's not a moral issue. Okay, now the family members, can you be their friends? Okay, because as if you are outside the clique of a company of people, can you be their friend? His sister, his brother, who is he closest to? Be their cheerleader. Then have a discussion with your husband. Don't feel offended because it's as if that you are feeling slighted. He's not carrying you along. You are getting information from outsiders. Every lady will feel very, very bad about that. Prevention, your husband is here, sir. You need to change that. Okay, that's not the best way to. You have to defend your wife. Like the Bible says, a husband shall leave his father and mother and cleave to the wife. Don't do that. It's not a good way to do. But if you are that lady in that situation, okay, what I want to advise you is forgive him. Okay, have a discussion. If peradventure is still doing it, be a friend of that other part of you. Be close to your in-laws or in-laws. Okay, be their friend. If peradventure is still not working, look for a mentor to talk to. Okay, and please make sure the things that you are even shouting about are really serious things, because they might not be serious things. What do you think, ma'am?
I think basically what I always tell people is this: when you get married, we know you're coming from a family. You can't just leave them alone. So it's bound to happen, especially if from the conversations, it's 3 years, marriages go through season. So if the person is still close to his mom, his siblings and co, is expected. But what is not expected is for you to now give all the information and make them treat your wife or your husband like trash. That is not kind, is not good at all. This is your husband. A wife is your favor. He that finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor. So you've left your father and your mother. If you don't treat her well, and I tell men, women can hinder your prayers. They can hinder your prayers. It's biblical. So if she's not happy with you, she starts internalizing things, you will not make progress. You won't know. And I beg women, I say, don't be a witch in your husband's life, because you can be so manipulative and you wish him evil because he's treating you like trash. So don't do that. You have to learn to pray for him and so that he will cut off. And then mentoring is key. Some men don't know. This is the family they know. This is what they know. So it's who they know that they will go to. I always tell couples, it's better you're talking to a neutral person than to your family members, except they're professionals. Because after you've moved on, they will say, is it not that same person that did this to you? Is it not that same useless man? Is it not that same useless woman? They will not move on, depending on their temperament. You have moved on and you are still sleeping together and laughing, and they are saying, look at them, look at their life. But if you tell somebody that is an outsider and is matured, they will be able to help without being biased. So he will need help because it's a young marriage. So we can't say cut off immediately. But that treating her like trash is a feeling that he must be spoken to about.
What should she do?
She has to, one, understand it's coming from somewhere. Also, forgive him in advance, and then be their friends. Because I always tell people, I was never one person wishing that I will marry a man without a mother, because that would be a prayer for me as well. So I would die, God forbid, before my children start getting married. When you say, I don't want a mother-in-law, God forbid. So you want to kill her before you marry her son, or before you marry the daughter. So you two will die before your own. It's easy. What you sow, you reap. So it was never my prayer. So when I saw my in-laws, it was in love. I keep telling them it's love that brought us together. Okay? So it was that same love. I'm one of the few that had the privilege of having my mother-in-law in my house for 4.5 years before she passed on. And before they both passed on, my father-in-law will come to the house. You would think he's my father because He's light in complexion, and we're working together. People say, oh, is that your dad? Is that your dad? And things like that. We were that close. And it came to a point where if they want to do anything, oh, Bridget, what do you think? Bridget, what do you think? You know? So I made myself, we were not friends from the beginning because we had issues with the marriage at the beginning. But my husband made it very clear. This is who he's getting married to, and went as far as entering my email to even send messages to his siblings to, oh, I'm the one greeting. Oh, I sent because he had my password. And so it was clear. And the father said it, I don't want any woman, any man to come between my children. So I had to make sure, because I'm first of 8 children, I don't want my siblings now to any wife, husband coming between us. So I had to protect them as well. Until today, it's like, I don't know how to say it. It was as if the father said it to me alone. So I protect the integrity of the family, making sure that they're a team. So even the family WhatsApp group, I set it up. My own family WhatsApp group, I set it up. So those are things that I do to make sure everybody is one. So you may have to go out of your way to befriend them, even when they don't like you. So when a man's way pleases God, even his enemies would be at peace. So even if they don't like you, they don't have a choice. They'll be at peace with you. But wishing them evil because they are nasty, my sister or brother, don't go there.
All right, sorry. I just want to quickly add, because it was part of what we experienced. I mean, Carl and I were just whispering to ourselves at the early stage of our marriage. To add to what Tim Meleshin has said, I want to, I mean, we're guessing that it is the lady asking the question. So build confidence in your marriage. Now, you need to understand that it is not your word against his word. One of the things that worked for us was that we decided to come together because it was going to be a major thing that, so I was seeing his family, I was seeing him and his family. And the truth is the covenant of marriage has brought us together. So we had to agree. I had to stop seeing him and his family. It is we and our family. So the moment I made peace with that reality, whatever happens, I don't see it from that aspect of my husband and his family. I am giving it away. I'm giving my marriage away. Because at the end of the day, I will have to account for my marriage, not even my mother-in-law. So I saw it as my own, it is my good. It is for my own good to make peace with them. I mean, I felt like I will be undermining the power of God inside of me to let go of my marriage so easily. Marriage, a union that is so sacred that God took time to bring us together. I saw us doing purpose. I saw us doing ministry together, and I will allow one petty thing. So no, it's not whatever you want to do. I have to, you know, when you say take it by force, I have to take my marriage by force, but not in violence. So even the love and everything, I was doing it from the part of, Carl, it is you and I. So from that day, whatever we are doing, it is us. Even when we need to take care of his parents, Florence and Carl, when we need to take care of our own parents. So imagine I have said your family. So because language is very important in this process. When you say yo, you have automatically separated yourself from the equation. But guess what? You are the major person in that equation, you and your husband. So you wouldn't let your marriage. That's what, if you are here, my sister, I want to say that don't leave your marriage out. It is your marriage. You have to own it, but not in violence, to say that this marriage has to work. Whatever I need to do, I won't give up on this man. I won't give up on this marriage. The two of us together, we're going to salvage our marriage. And before you know it, with the help of the Holy Spirit, I'm sure you achieve a lot.
So let me just add a bit. One of the other very deliberate steps that we took, because it was a major issue. I mean, Mr. Leshin was saying so, even to the extent of the name for the children, bed sheet, furniture. I mean, want to fix the car.
Yeah,
because I was very close to my
mom. Buy bed sheet for us. Sorry.
You know, so it was a major issue. So I can relate. I can relate, especially if you are like the first son to I can totally relate with that. But one of the things, when it became a problem, is like now putting the man in the spot, choosing between your mom and your wife, that kind of. But when I noticed that kind of situation by the help of the Holy Spirit, I made everybody in my family understand that there is no, hey, come, we want to have a meeting, my son, come, let me talk to you. I made my mom understand that anything you tell me, as we leave that, I will tell my wife. So as we leave that conversation we had in the room, as we get to the sitting room, I'm telling my wife, and she's like, but we just had a secret conversation. And I'm just telling my wife that, see what she said, what do you think? And she'll be shocked. Like, so from that situation, she would not waste her time to have a private conversation. If she wants to talk, she'll just say, hey, let me just tell you in the presence of the wife, because I know you will still tell her, And what that was, thank you. So what that did was it opened the family up to be able to accept her that, you know what, if you want to accept your son, then you have to accept his wife, as part of the family. And I think she also did the same with her family. Just saying, if you want to get through to my husband, you have to go through. There's no, so I think, yes, I understand the dynamic, and it can be very challenging, especially in the first few years of marriage, but with the help of God, everything can be solved.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, the sister that asked that question, this is what I just want to know here is that please going ahead, forgive your husband in this aspect, okay? And ladies, knowing this, there are 5 women in the lives of a man: you, his mother, his sister, daughter, and a strange woman out there. The person you don't want there is the strange woman. Because when a strange woman comes in, hey, it takes over the home. But when you are there, you are able to tit and tack for your home. You anchor your hope down. When your daughter is there, she knows what is going on. She sees the example from home, is able to anchor it down with the parent. The mother, the mother just come in and aspect, hey, mom, we just believe in God in this aspect, pray along with us. Okay? The sisters, all of you are family. But that strange woman, you don't want. And please, brother, if you are there, please, before going to your family, the woman know that, yes, you did not just fall down from the sky. You came from somebody. You came from a home. He didn't just pick you on the streets. Somebody nurtured you up. But when you get married, okay, not that you leave them totally, but hey, try to walk yourself away. Cleave to your wife. If there's anything, even in the financial aspect of it, even let your wife know that, you know what, can I reach out to our parents to say, hey, it will not take the woman to say, you know what, let's first, mix it up what we have first before we, reach out to outsider. Please don't just, leave your wife and just, hey, pop into your family and say, hey, this and that, which means you're making the woman inside to look at, what is going on here? If he's coming to us all the time. Please, man, carry your wife along. Protect that woman. Let the woman feel safe around you and your family.
Thank you very much. So I'm just going to wrap this question up. She said, how do you find joy and move on with such marriage? Thank you. So what you can do, if you are in Nigeria, please try and see Team Karl or Team Election. They will be of good resources to you. You can talk to them. But what you can do to find joy is like what they said. And the next, you need to pray for your husband. Prayer is the key. Pray for your husband and go and see a counselor or go and see a professional counselor and just talk to them about it, and they can walk you through all these things. So thank you very much. Then I'm going to go to another question. Another question that we have right here is somebody said,